Yo, welcome into the DFS Huddle, DFS Bachelor at ETOP21. We're going to go over the Thursday night football showdown. I want to say thank you to everyone watching. Please subscribe, like, all that stuff. Come join the Patreon. No one's over there. All we're doing is winning. Good stuff at the Patreon. Links in the video description below. Click there, join up, get all of our lineups, all that good stuff. But I mean, it's time for week 6 already. We are moving through. I'm excited, Erik, because very soon, at this time next week, I'll be playing NASCAR 2025. Think I'm going to ask my mommy for the steering wheel and pedal for Christmas, and I'm going to be driving like I'm going full bore. Very excited for that. But here we go to week 6. Eagles, Giants, brief injury report. Looks like really the only one of note. Like Jackson Dart's fine, Saquon's fine. Is Darius Slayton hamstring? Other than that, looks like both teams full strength. Tyrone Tracy looks like has a good chance of coming back and playing for the Giants this week. But other than that, divisional game outside in New York. Keep an eye on the weather. Of course, we're recording this on Tuesday night. Keep an eye on the weather out there. You never know, and that could impact the game. But how you doing overall, brother? What do you think? Week 6 already, man.
Yeah, week 6. Cash, the 50-50s cash Saturday main, Saturday night. And then 2-on-1 Monday night in the bets. So, can't complain. Hopefully, keep it going into lovely week 6. Not the sexiest game, but sometimes it's the games where we can find the most value.
Unfortunately, it could be one where the Eagles defense at captain prevails, but I don't think so. Again, just overall strategy. If you're playing tournaments, leave salary on the table. It's one way to differentiate yourself. We're trying to end if you're playing tournaments, I mean, it's nice to cash. We all want to cash, but you also don't want to finish tied with 1,000 people you want to be unique and be a little bit different. Leaving some salary on the table is one way to do that. Let's just jump in. We got baseball going on. Let's get this thing done here. Short and sweet. Quarterbacks, you got Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart. So far, the Giants have allowed, the 13th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Giants have been a little bit better. Of course, there's some schedule and stuff and things there. Hurts, obviously, both these quarterbacks have rushing upside. Dart, last couple of weeks, near 20 every week in both starts, 20 and 19. Jalen Hurts does that on a routine basis. So playing both quarterbacks, I think, makes it a ton of sense. Both teams are pretty good up front, stopping the run. Although, we'll go over those rankings here. They're kind of surprising at times, but both quarterbacks in play. Hurts at captain's going to make sense because, if they get the ball at the 1 or 2 yard line, it's a guaranteed rushing touchdown for Jalen Hurts. So it's really hard not to play him at the captain spot. What do you think your quarterbacks, Erik?
Both of them have the rushing upside. The only thing is when you're looking at it, do you really want to spend $15-30 for a Jackson Dart at the captain position?
I probably won't. Look, that's the contrarian way. Like in tournaments, if you want to be contrarian as shit, Jackson Dart will be very low owned at the captain spot. More people will own Jalen Hurts because everyone's got the Eagles winning this game, right?
Yeah.
So the only way I'm having Jackson Dart at captain is if I'm one of those guys making 150 lineups, and I'll have a few. If I'm making 40 lineups, maybe I do 1 or 2 with him at captain, something like that. Like it's not going to be a super high percentage for me. I'll probably be under. I would purposely be under what I think everyone else will be. He'll probably be like 2-3% at captain. I would be more like 1%. Yeah. So I don't think it's likely, but it is possible. Because football's drunk, and we know
And I mean, with the Eagles, it's just hard. Like their offensive coordinators and Stanley Oberstead only has a job because of friends with Sirianni. So they just take the air out of the ball once they get up and they just run it. So because of that, it's tough for me to have Hurts in the lineup as a captain as well. Maybe I don't know. Like this is
even when he doesn't throw the ball well, he gets 20. Because of the short yardage upside, and that's quite frankly, it's the weakness of the Giants' defense as a secondary. Up front, they're pretty good. Mm-hmm. So the weakness is that secondary, in my view. It's where you can beat them. Might be a get right spot. Again, got to check the weather too. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely have some Jalen Hurts at captain because there's a really good chance he could go off. Right. He could get 2 rushing touchdowns, and that's all it takes. If he throws, you know what I mean? All it takes is pass interference in the end zone, touchdown Jalen Hurts. Pass interference in the end zone, touchdown Jalen
Hurts. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the problem. I hate it. I wish it was like some cheap wide receiver who could be the guy, but that's very unlikely this week. We'll try to find him. But so far, both quarterbacks in my player pool. You know, you got to play at least one Giant. If you have lineups made, we've got all Eagles in your one Giant. It's the quarterback. I could see because it could be, you know, very disappointing results this last week in New Orleans for this Giants offense. Didn't look great. You know, having a Jackson Dart or your Scatterboo as your one Giant, especially like who do you want to play at wide receiver right now? We'll talk about that as we get to it. But I'm going to have exposure to both quarterbacks. Obviously, prefer Jalen Hurts, and the price difference isn't that big. It's only 800. Like, give me Hurts.
Yeah.
Running backs. What do you got at running back here? Obviously, Saquon for the Eagles. Both these teams plus matchups. So the Giants have allowed the 9th most fantasy points to running backs. The Eagles have allowed the 7th most. So they've both been kind of torched in terms of fantasy points allowed by the opposing running back. Tyrone Tracy, I think, is going to play. The question is, he's better play on FanDuel at 5,800. He's kind of high price for me on DraftKings. Got Scatterboo and Barkley. And look, Barkley's a little bit banged up, general soreness. I don't know. Do you want any of the Eagles backups? And if for whatever reason Tyrone Tracy doesn't come back, then way down at 2,000, maybe some Devin Singletary. But right now, I mean, it's just Scatterboo or Barkley and then trying to fit him into your lineup somehow. There's no one else I'm really all that interested in. What do you like at running back, Erik?
I mean, Barkley only had 6 carries.
Yeah.
You have to think they're going to use him more this game. I mean, you have to think. So I'm immediately intrigued with Saquon Barkley. For me, with how physical Cam Scatterboo is, I can't expect much with him on this quick turnaround. So I'm definitely interested in Tracy or Singletary, whoever. If Tracy plays him, if not, then I'll look to Singletary. So that's kind of where my head is. I mean, Philadelphia is allowing 126.8 yards a ground per game, and then the Giants are at 140. So I definitely want exposure to both these running backs because I think what they're gonna look to do. They're gonna look to run the ball. But I really feel like Saquon, you gotta have Saquon in your lineup because isn't this gonna be his quote unquote bounce back game?
I mean, it could be, and it just takes one carry. You know, he's just so explosive. Scatterboo's been a touch monster. It's a little rapey, it sounds like, but he's been handsy. 49 touches over the last 2 weeks? Incredible. I mean, Tracy's been out.
You know what I mean?
Short week, but you know, and I thought this last week about Christian McCaffrey. It didn't fucking matter. Christian McCaffrey they didn't fucking hardly use Brian Robinson at all. I took Brian Robinson to get 19 rush yards. I think he had 6 carries. They just used. So I don't know. He only played 54% of he's played 54% of the snaps this year, but when he's on the field, a 45% touch rate, 5% higher than Barkley. Barkley's playing a ton of I mean, you're just going to have exposure to both of them. When we get to the end of the show, we'll try to build a sample lineup here on DraftKings, just kind of see what it's all about. Well, I'm going to mark these guys on the player pool here so we have them when we get to it. All right, wide receiver. So we mentioned probably no Darius Slayton. Even if he does play, I will not be playing. I'm not taking a wide receiver with a hamstring issue. No thanks.
No.
Giants have allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. There's a huge plus advantage. The secondary of the Giants is awful. The Eagles give Hurts just a little bit of time. These receivers should be open. I love Brown and Smith. Put one of them in the captain spot. Don't hate it. And if you want to get cute, Jahan Dotson for the Giants. Wan'Dale Robinson should see a ton of targets. The problem is where he plays in the slot, right? The Eagles are good at defending there. The weakness is on the outside. You want to go after a Dory Jackson or whoever's playing that other side away from Mitchell. Jalen Hyatt did have the 3 targets. He didn't catch anything, but that's where the advantage is going to be. And then it's going to be one of these Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins guys who's going to have to play. Gunnar Olszewski, you might see them bring up Lil Jordan Humphrey. You Broncos fans might remember old Lil Jordan. Saints fans, Lil Jordan Humphrey. He might get activated and play. Yeah. That's what you're looking at wide receiver this week for the Giants. What do you think at wide receiver?
I'm intrigued by Hyatt. He had a couple long pass plays. He's just a home run play. You just need one play for him to hit your nut. for his price point. Obviously, I'm going to shy away from Wendell. He's going to be playing in the slot. That's obviously where you don't want to attack him. And I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to if I'm going to take a shot at an Eagles wide receiver, I'd probably play Dalvin for Dotson. Just because it's going to be so erratic, because you can't really trust AJ Brown or Devontae Smith to get the ball, just because.
What if he just play both of them?
You think you can play both of them and no Hurts?
I'll play both of them and Hurts. Put Jalen Hurts if I play Jalen Hurts at captain, I'm going to play his main pass catchers as well. I'm going to try to stack all of them. Then I'll get the rushing upside of Hurts, and every time he completes a pass, I get points as well. Trying to have my lineup tell a story. So there I'd be attacking the weakness of the Giants defense, which is the pass defense, especially against wide receivers. That'd be one way I would do it. Another guy, Bo Collins. So he had 3 targets last week too. Now no Slayton. Probably no Slayton. It's Hyatt and Collins, right? It's one of those two. Do you have a preference? I'm going to sprinkle them in tournaments. I have Dotson too. I'll sprinkle some Dotson in as well. But I feel like my problem is I feel like I've said a million times. I've heard it a million times from my buddies. It's Jahan Dotson day. It's Jahan Dotson day. Jahan Dotson's. The Eagles. It used to be, who was the fucking third wide receiver for him before? Same fucking thing. And they would tell me it's his week. I can't remember who it was, but he was the number 3 receiver before Dotson for the Eagles. And he'd play like every fucking down and he would never get the ball. I can't remember his name up for whatever reason right now. I don't know why I'm not remembering his name. Last year's slot receiver, or the year before that. And look, it just doesn't ever happen. He can Jalen Hurts can barely fucking throw it to AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and then he gets it to Goddard a little. He can't fucking get it to Jahan Dotson. That's my problem. He just never does. I can't remember the guy's name. Damn it, I'm forgetting his name. But it's the other. Someone will remember it. You could leave it in the comment section. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. Next position, tight end. All of a sudden, Theo Johnson is like.
Love me some Theo Johnson.
Theo Johnson, Dallas Goedert. Here's the salary relief here, 5'8", 6'4", and just one other guy. A little bit of value here for the Giants. Daniel Bellinger doesn't play a ton of snaps. 4 targets last week as well. He could be one of these, like he's at 2,800. If you're paying up for all these guys in the Eagles passing game and whatnot, paying down for a Bellinger and just hoping he gets like a target in the red zone and the 2 tight end bootleg, Jackson Dart throw to the backup tight end. You can fucking just see it happening in your head. Of course, then Bill Vinovich calls it back for an eligible man downfield. You're like, how does that happen from the 1 yard line? No one has an answer, and the game is ruined. But that's kind of what I'm looking at tight end. What do you think at tight end this week, Erik?
I love Theo Johnson. Leading wide receiver since Hurts has taken over. Great matchup for him to attack the middle of the field, and Dallas Goedert. I think both tight ends are feasible in your lineups just because they're such a feature part of the passing game.
Now, both teams have been good against tight ends. Are you worried about the matchups? Giants, 6th fewest. Eagles, 4th fewest allowed to opposing tight ends thus far.
I mean, I just kind of look at it that Dart's going to look his way. And Hurts doesn't seem to be thrown to the outside. He seems to be attacking the middle of the field more. And they're doing like some exotic stuff with him. They're throwing tight end screens with him down in the red zone. They seem to be looking to get him the ball a lot more. So
yeah, I like both tight ends. I'm going to have exposure to them. And just a little sprinkle, just a little skosh of Daniel Bellinger. Kickers. You'll see on the screen it's not showing the Giants kicker. It just has Jake Elliott. Kickers, by the way, have been scoring a bunch of points against the Giants. I think the kicker is going to be this Adam Mantera guy. He's in the player pool. I know at least on.
I thought it was.
So they're doing.
I thought it was cool.
So they're doing these like weekly competitions. So this Adam Mantera, whatever. God damn it, I can't remember his name. Matt Natera, something like that. He won the competition this last weekend. Was their kicker. Then he reverted back to the practice squad today. They will decide on Thursday. It's probably going to be this guy. He didn't miss any kicks. He'll be reverted back up, but it could be Younghoe Koo. Again, we'll find out Thursday before the game, but I think it's going to be the other guy. But look, if you're forced to play a kicker, I don't hate it. Certainly Jake Elliott can hit 50-yard field goals. But again, if it's short yardage, the problem with taking the Eagles kicker If it's short yardage, if it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, they have very little incentive to punt it or kick the field goal. They're just gonna they're gonna tush push it.
Yeah.
They're gonna tush push it. So I'm not gonna have as much of the kicker as I typically would. Normally I hate it. I'm gonna be nervous because a kicker can fucking ruin the slate. I hate the kicker. I hate kickers.
Yeah.
But if I was gonna have one, it's the Eagles kicker. Defense. Eagles defense, yes or no? Definitely not Giants, but Eagles, yes or no? Rookie quarterback struggled against the Saints. What do you think?
I would do it. I mean, I think it's worth having the Eagles defense.
If you're making several lineups, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I would not put like we've talked about before, I would not put him in the captain spot. Just because if there are some fluky touchdowns, you're just screwed. But I would definitely look to have the Eagles in it just because Dart is going to turn the ball over. He was turning the ball over against the Saints. Eagles have a better pass rush, way better secondary. Not as good against the run as the Saints are, as crazy as it sounds, but I would definitely look to put the Eagles in. I cannot trust the Giants. There's just no way with what they bring to the table.
Yeah, zero chance we could play the Giants defense for me. All right, I'm trying to make a lineup here. I got Devontae Smith at captain, but I think we might even have to go cheaper here. So, let's go something like Dallas Goedert at captain. Okay, now we got Hurts, A.J. Brown. Let's also get Devontae Smith in there. And let's see, we still have 800. We have Theo Johnson and Jahan. It's Dallas Goedert at captain, A.J. Brown, Theo Johnson, Jalen Hurts, Jahan Dotson, Devontae Smith. If we want to get Saquon Barkley in there too, can't do it that way. We'd have to get rid of one of the receivers. That's where it gets, or go Jalen Hyatt here, and then you could come up. It's going to be tough making a lineup this week to get everybody in. You can't just go Hurts, Brown, and Smith, and Barkley. To do that, you're going to have to go real cheap at captain. You're talking like someone way down here, and you got to hope they do something. They do something big. Tank Bigsby returns a kickoff. Jahan Dotson at captain, then you could do it. That's the only way you're doing this. And even then, you're paid down. Even then, it's really, really tough, but you can do it. You go down to Daniel Bellinger. So if you did Dotson at captain, then you could go Brown, Barkley, Hurts, Bellinger, Devontae Smith. You could have the big four for the Eagles and then play a low key. So it's going to be tough there. I'd probably do something like we were doing with Goddard or Smith there. You're just going to have to fade one of them. Again, we appreciate you guys. If you want to see our lineups and all that shit, it's in the Patreon. It's $15, but it's not expensive. Click that link. Like, subscribe, follow Erik at eTop21. He's doing content all the time. Doing a great job over there at DFS Bachelor. Any thoughts overall before we get out of here, Erik? How are you going to start? You're the 50-50 guy. How are you going to start building? What do you think?
Jeez, I have no idea, man. I'll probably put Jesus.
Tough.
I know. I mean, they ride Scadaboo so much. I'll probably end up putting Scadaboo in the captain position. And I'm going to hate my life for it.
I might do this Jahan in captain spot with the big four right there and just try to eat up all those points and see if it works out. You just hope for a long touchdown to Dotson, just get you up and hope it makes up. But if you try to do it, we could sit here and do it. We got a little bit of time, but just doing Jalen Hurts at captain and playing Saquon Barkley.
I mean, it's
craziness. You got to really, Wandale can't be there. Obviously you're coming way down. Then you're getting Dotson here. So we need 3,700 off. So you have to choose between Smith and A.J. Brown. I feel like the big A.J. Brown game is coming. They're going to try to get him the ball, but it's kind of been shaky, right? So then you could go something like that. I like this lineup. So it's Jalen Hurts at captain, Theo Johnson, Saquon Barkley, Jahan Dotson. You're still going Bellinger and Devontae Smith. If you want to even that out a little bit, you can go down from Smith to Goddard. So you don't have either of the receivers. And then go from Bellinger up to, the kicker. As good as it gets. It's tough. It's not great. It's tough. It's tough building a lineup with Hurts at captain, one that you feel good about. Anyways, all right. Like,
I mean, I threw this Scadaboo at captain, and then Jalen Hurts, Gallis, Goddard, Young, Theo, Johnson, the Eagles defense, and then Jalen Hyatt.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of playing with it right now. Like I haven't.
I'm making that on
the thing
DraftKings right here.
It's hard because like I feel like between Hurts, AJ Brown, and Scadaboo, Barkley, you got to put your flag in the ground.
You got to pick one of them if you think it's going to be a Barkley day or a Hurts day. Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back for our full slate later on this week. From myself and Erik, good luck. Good luck Thursday night in your DFS, and of course, good luck on all your future wagers.